Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to our Monday AMA. As always, my name is Leo, and I have some things that I want to talk to you guys about. For anybody who was paying a little bit of attention, you guys know that we have a Twitter Spaces AMA scheduled for Wednesday this week. Normally, we do it on Thursdays, but since this Thursday is a national holiday in the United States and some other places as well, we decided we're going to do it on Wednesday just so more people can attend. And on Wednesday is when we're going to pretty much spill the beans on what to expect for the big announcement and the big event that we got coming up. So Wednesday, you guys will get all that information. In collaboration with that AMA, we are actually having a co-host come on too. Um, these people, they do Twitter Space AMAs, and they pretty much do interviews and whatnot, and kind of like how we did last time with the other guys. But those are going to be with a new crowd, so expect like more of a show type AMA to happen too after we get all of our announcements and everything said and done. So that's going to be cool for what it is. Another thing that I want to bring up is I actually had a call, pretty long call with AC today, and the whole motive behind that call was because we want to revive and bring back the 888 podcast, because I think the podcast was something that we could really use to grow uh, our network. And so I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a spiel as to like how I envision this podcast to be. The podcast is going to be pretty much us talking about like everything, not just crypto, but kind of like everything that has to do with things that are trending in the current time. And the whole reason why we want to do that is because I've been paying attention to a lot of Twitter Space AMAs that have been happening over the past few weeks. And obviously, if you guys are watching those Twitter Space AMAs too, you'll see that there's some of them that have thousands, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people join at any given time. And the whole point of like the people joining in on those is because the Twitter Spaces, that those AMAs, those podcasts or whatever, they're they're honestly titled in relevant trending topics. And I think us kind of approaching that whole market where we just go on and talk, where it doesn't have to just be about our project, it doesn't have to just be about our community or whatever, but just like, me and AC are the two hosts kind of just going back and forth about, certain topics where people can actually be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I want to listen to this, or I want to be a part of this or whatever. That's the whole idea of what we're going to try to do. And in doing so, it will bring light to everything else that we have going on, and hopefully kind of like help grow the community in a way possible, in any way possible. Obviously, things are slow, right, in crypto, and obviously, when things are slow, people try to find entertainment in any other place that they can. So, keeping it relevant to hold on, I'm sorry, I just got a message. Let me read this. Never mind, that's not for me. Keeping it relevant to like trending topics and keeping it relevant to other cool things that are happening in the world will definitely bring people's attention to pretty much this sector in a sense, until obviously the next bull market happens and then everything is just like randomly coming to us without us even putting any effort in there, right? Which is something me and AC talked about today too, where we're like, hey, in a bear market, you really have to put so much elbow grease and so much effort to get people's attention. Whereas in the bull market, you don't even have to try. You don't have to do anything, and people are just flocking your way. So what we're going to do is we're going to experiment. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to fit it into a schedule. It's not going to be like anything that happens like on the set time every week or anything like that. We might do like two of them a month or one of them a month, or we're going to test the waters out and see how successful it is and how much traction it can bring. And if it does good, we'll continue going hard on it. If it does like whatever, we'll kind of like develop a plan as to how to make it better and whatnot. So I think we'll pretty much do a good job. Another thing, obviously, let's talk about the whole Twitter contest, right? The whole situation between Blue Sparrow and Volt Inu. They were the two finalists. Now, it was 100% obvious that I don't want to say both of them, but probably both of them were like just sending bots to send votes out. It was kind of like a bot battle at the end. So instead of us kind of like being like, hey, this person won or that person won, and kind of just creating a whole scene out of it, we just decided, you know what, since they were the two finalists, we're just going to split it up amongst both of them. So we're just going to buy and burn 5K of each of those instead of picking one. And the reason why we did that is because we just want to be fair. And I'm not saying that the developers are the ones who botted that. I highly doubt the developers of those projects are the ones who did that. It could have just been people in the community, just like, it's pretty cheap to bot something like that on Twitter. I was looking into it, and you could get like thousands of votes for like $20 or something like that. So I'm not surprised to see that, some people doing that just to get an edge, but it is what it is. We're just going to be fair, and we're going to be splitting the winnings amongst both of them instead of choosing one finalist, which would have been cool because the concept that we were trying to bring to the table was like a really good concept, but it just proved to us further how important it is to be legit and kind of like have a real DAO where those things can't be manipulated and those things can't be tinkered with and whatnot. So just proved our point even more in a sense. I mean, congratulations to both of them for kind of winning, I guess. It's just kind of unfortunate to see that people are, manipulating those votes, and, comes to show like who knows how many of the votes in the prior rounds were manipulated too. But it is what it is. It's all said and done. And in the past now we learned from this experience, and we'll do it again, but we'll do it better. We'll do it right. We'll do it more decentralized and in a way where people can't, manipulate those votes. All in all, it's a win-win for Shibadoge and our community and the Burn project in general, because now both of those projects are going to be aware of us and aware of what we have going on. So in a way, it's just like any kind of marketing is good marketing in a sense. But a lot of what I want to talk about this week is I'm kind of holding off onto talking about it because I want to keep it for Wednesday's AMA on Twitter, because we are trying to make that a big one, especially with the collaboration that we're doing. We're trying to bring as many people as possible to that Twitter Space AMA. So I kind of want to just, open the floor up to people to talk about what they want to talk about. Maybe we could take some like questions, maybe we could have some conversation or whatnot. And then, yeah, we could move forward with that. If you guys have anything you want to get off your mind, just feel free to speak up.
I had a question from the community member earlier on regarding the roadmap on the website. They're saying, why has that disappeared?
Let me see. Check it out. I believe. Give me 1 second. I remember seeing it still on there.
Oh, is it on there? Okay, let me have a look myself.
No, I thought I did, but maybe after the remap it kind of got lost.
Yeah, so
Maybe
that's
it's in
what.
one of the tabs over here.
Yeah, so that's what they're asking. Like, oh, there's causes. Yeah.
Hey there. Yeah, there was discussion about the roadmap, and and one of the discussions that we've I think you've said before, Leo, is that with these roadmaps, it's like you kind of it's they're not always a great thing. And anyway, so if when basically the roadmap information is all in the white paper site, that's kind of really where
Gotcha.
it is.
Yeah, yeah,
that's where
that's what we wanted to do too, because yeah, exactly, the white paper is more of a roadmap than any graphic roadmap that we could put on the website anyway. I knew we were going to go that route of like kind of just pointing everything onto the white paper. So I guess with the whole remap of the website, we already went ahead and did that. if anybody asks about the roadmap, just direct them straight to the white paper, because the entire vision of the project and the entire goal of the project is pretty much laid out there on the white paper anyway. But kind of to piggyback off what Kaz was saying, it's true, man. All of these roadmaps that people put on their websites they're just so generically the same, and they all look the same, and they all feel the same. So we definitely want to give our
you can't. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And they they're meaningless, and they're also quite restrictive as well for because you've got to be able to pivot at times. So the white papers were all that. So.
Look, you definitely have to be able to be adaptive in this space, and ideas that you're pretty much born with and brought into the space can very quickly change and very quickly have to be rethought, because something that you might have thought would be the right thing 3 months ago, you might change your mind on that and be like, hey, you know what, I want to do this because this is better instead. So I think having some type of like goal roadmap like that, like we had before on the previous website, was cool. But then again, I also do think that it's just like very underwhelming when people look at it and they're like, okay, so these guys just have a roadmap and they're like, okay, we want to hit 100,000 holders. Oh, okay. Like no shit. Everybody wants to hit 100,000 holders. Everybody wants to do as the best that they possibly can. I don't need to write it on the website for people to know that we're trying to be successful and we're trying to make the best out of it. So which is kind of accommodates to what we're doing with the Burn project now, guys. Like obviously the Burn project was brought to life with the ideas that it was brought to life with, but what we did is we sat down and we realized, we're like, hey, you know what, now we're in a whole different market. The market is not the same that it was 6 months ago, so let's adapt. Let's make the Burn project something that is more of a surprise to people and something that people will find way more meaningful moving forward. So that's why we sat down and we're putting together a whole plan on how to restructure it and how to make the Burn project something much more valuable than what it originally was the idea that it was originally brought to life on, because the market obviously shifted in a direction where we could find more value exploring different avenues, right? So obviously with the amount of resources that the Burn project has behind it, we're going to be able to kind of have a lot of meaningful marketing. We're going to have a lot of meaningful development. We're going to be able to fund a lot of meaningful stuff for it. And I think being able to be static like that and be able to adjust on the fly is very important, especially in this space where people are always looking for that new big thing, always looking for that new innovative thing. Kind of like locking yourself up into one direction is kind of like not the best thing to do, in my opinion. It's always good to be able to have options to explore, and as long as you're able to stay creative, you're going to be successful in this space. So, and we're kind of going to show you guys how what we mean by that with the Burn project when we lay out the whole restructured version and tell you guys what the plan is. Which is why when I tell you guys don't sleep on the Burn project, the reason why I say that is because we found we find potential in the Burn project in different ways. So now what we're doing is we're coming up with that finalized plan of how we want to move forward and how we want to restructure everything and how we want to kind of like remarket and reintroduce that project in the future. So that's just my 2 cents on roadmaps and kind of like a small plug on the Burn project as well.
Sounds good. Anyone wants to say anything? Just come up. Just unmute. If not, I'll got another question. Okay, so breeding, we got 15 days left until staking's over. What's the plan on that? Have we got any updates on the breeding?
Yeah, so come December, we're gonna have an AMA that's gonna have to do with pretty much the entire introduction of what season 3 would entail. Pretty much the entire plan of how the breeding is going to play out. hopefully by then we have our UX finalized, so we'll be able to share with you guys the entire format of how the breeding will work. If not, we do have some like pretty good screenshots and some pretty good iterations of what to expect. So hopefully it's 100% done by the AMA. If not, we'll just share with you guys what we have. But we're getting close, guys. I mean, obviously there's what you said, 15 days. So 15 days left into season 2. Obviously we'll have like a small break in between season 2 before season 3 starts, but we do aim to have season 3, up and running in December, hopefully. So I think everything is pretty much looking like we'll hit our deadlines and we'll hit our goals. So obviously we'll keep you guys posted, but within the next like 2.5 weeks, we should have an AMA and kind of talk about literally everything to expect with the breeding and what to expect with the Shibadoge NFTs.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Anyone want to speak? Just unmute and speak.
Hey Leo, it's Rojo. Did you all figure out? Did you all figure out anything with rewards and the staking period for the full 120 days and what the rewards are going to be? Or
we kind of have like an idea of what we want to do, and we kind of want to be able to pretty much get all the data after the season is concluded, and then we'll kind of lay everything out on the table, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to qualify, but it wouldn't be like something that you'd get like immediately after the season is done. That's something that we're going to have to get all the data for, and then put everything into like a different stage so we can start working on it and bring to life what we want to do. So you can expect it to be addressed like, I don't know, a little bit after the season is over. We'll pretty much talk about it. We know we want to do something special for those people, and after we have all the data and after we get everything, we'll pretty much start talking about what those people would get out of that promotion that we were pushing.
Right on, man. Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
For sure, brother. And that's the thing, is we want to continue to do like cool little things like that, where people are just like not expecting anything, but they get something anyway, because it's like everyone always likes getting stuff, man, especially when it's just like passive and you're doing something already anyway, and then you just get an extra thing on top of it. It just makes it feel much better and much it's like a much more sweet reward, right? So we want to always be able to over deliver on certain things. And obviously it's not like people stake and don't get anything out of it. They get a whole staking season, and some people who didn't even start with any tokens and just started with NFTs were able to actually create some pretty solid positions into the projects just through their staking rewards alone. So it's definitely a working concept.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them screenshots of the breeded NFTs. I want to see them, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. I mean, when we saw them, we were like really. I was personally blown away from how clean like the interface is, because
Right.
like me personally, I'm really bad when it comes to design, and I'm really bad when it comes to like putting web pages together, or just like anything like that has to do with graphic design or anything that has to do with UX design. Just not my forte. So I always imagine things to look a lot differently when we're talking about building it. And then, we pass it on to the creative people who are actually a lot better than I am in designing things and drawing things up. So when they got back to us, I was like in my head, always imagining something different. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be ugly. But that's because what I was imagining. And then when they hit us with, what they built, I was like, damn, that looks like, that's so much better than what I was envisioning in my head. And then they're telling me, they're like, yeah, because you don't have a creative, artistic mind. I was like, okay, I guess.
That's what it is, man.
But yeah, no, the UI, yeah, man. Yeah, it is what it is, bro. I mean, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses.
Exactly.
And then for me personally, I can't draw, even though sometimes I win on the Pictionary game with you guys.
Yeah, I know. You're quite good at that, man. I don't know.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
how bad my drawing is. I can't even draw a star. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. That's why you got a team, right? That's why you got a team. Everyone's got their strengths.
Everyone's got their strengths. Everyone's got their weaknesses.
Right.
Is anybody in here left-handed?
Yeah, I am.
You are? Yeah, I'm also left-handed.
Only the best. Only the best.
Yeah.
I'm
I always thought
kind of ambidextrous, actually. I can do a lot of things with different, for like if I was playing guitar or sports or things like that, I'll do that right-handed. I can write with both hands at the same time on like a board. It's
What?
yeah, but it's really weird.
Yeah, let me tell you how bad. Let me tell you how bad I am with my right hand. I can't even spell my name, which is 3 letters, with my right hand. I can't spell it. It just looks like doodles. I've always been left hand dominant and everything, and I feel like my right hand, I could, knock on wood, but I could lose my right hand and I'd be able to live my life normally, like as if nothing ever happened.
Yeah, no, use them both. The funny thing is, first time, but when I was a kid, like I wrote my name on my bedroom wall. I was a very naughty boy, but but it was the first time I'd written my name on the wall, and I wrote it because the pens in because I had whatever the right. I think it could have been my mum's lipstick or some big marker pen, but I wrote it on the wall, and as you're writing away from you, basically I wrote it in mirror image. It was totally back to front. And while sort of thinking about that years after, I think it's because you kind of write away from you, or right-handed people, the words, their arm gets further away from them as they write the words,
Right,
and so
right.
doing that with the left hand, it just sort of felt natural. I was a weird kid.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I'm kidding, man.
No, I was.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I mean, I've always struggled with like writing stuff too, growing up, especially in school, because like when you're writing with your left hand, you smear everything when you're writing sentences. So when we were writing with pencil or whatever, I would always turn in my papers with smeared writing all over it, and my teachers would be like, "What the heck is wrong with you, dude?"
I had a special ink pen with the nib kind of like bends around the corner a bit.
I remember always having to like put like a napkin or a tissue underneath my hand so I don't smear. It was always a mission.
So you're not one of those people that kind of like coil your hand kind of around, and so you can kind of pull your hand away from you. You know how left-handed people do that? They kind of like curl their arm all around it, and that's again so that the hand is so that you're leaving ink behind, if you like, and your hand's in the front, whereas left-handed you're kind of pushing ink. It's weird. Just yeah, use a computer.
Exactly. I don't have any of those issues now because now we live in a digital age where I don't even remember when the last time I got a pen and pencil and started writing things down on it. Like I do everything on my laptop or my phone, or just.
You got to have a notebook of ideas, one of those like moleskin notebooks that for writing down ideas. I always carry one of those on me.
Yeah, I used to do that, man. I used to do that, and I just transitioned everything over to online. It's just way easier for me to keep track of things. Like I keep tags on everything, so it's like whenever I'm trying to search back for any certain topic, like I'll just search that tag and be able to find everything related to that. And it just made my life a lot easier, and especially like it's so much more convenient, man, in my opinion. Like the life that we live now compared to 10 years ago, it's like the quality of life is different, but I gotta argue that like society is worse, right? Society is worse, but the quality of life is better. But that's just my opinion.
Depends where you live, obviously, and opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the future is definitely kind of interesting. I think if society doesn't sort of, well, I think terrible things are going to happen before things get better.
Well, you guys see what's happening now. That it looks like with what is going on with Twitter, which is amazing to watch it play out because it's definitely going to be part of history. But the era of social media censorship looks like it's going to come to an end because what's going on with what Elon's trying to do, at least from what I'm trying to like envision in my head, what he's trying to do is he's trying to just delete censorship in general. And he's like, you know what? If people have their opinions, whether people agree with them or not, they should still be able to, voice their opinion, share their opinion, and not get, banned off of a platform for it or silenced. So I think that's going to be really, really good for crypto in general. And the reason why I'm comparing that to crypto is because a lot of these social media companies, they really block out the algorithm really blocks out like crypto promotions and crypto pages and not even promotions in itself, but like anything that's related to crypto, the algorithm doesn't push it towards audiences, right?
Algorithms don't
And
help at all, right? My
yeah,
previous, my last startup was a social multimedia network, and you've got to think about moderation. You've got to think about how somebody. It's like if people used to call me, said, "Hey, Cos," he said, "You're like a publican in a bar. It's like you're running a pub." And
right.
if you're trying to run a pub and you're trying to give everyone a good service and everyone's having a good time, and then a whole load of people just storm in and just kind of trash the place, you got to get rid of those people for the sake of your existing customers and users and things like that. It's a really hard thing to do, managing a social network. And one of the things I did is I kind of made posts like self-moderating, where if you dislike something, you could dislike it, and so it would get like a minus kind of count. And then if the negative count went below a certain threshold, it then kind of put up like an interstitial and saying, majority of this community think this post is a load of crap. It's up to you. You can
Mm-hmm.
click here and carry on and view it if you want. But some people find it offensive, whatever. It's up to you. And also, it made it so that people could then change their mind and then take away their negative aspect from it, and then kind of letting the post kind of free again. The communities are the ones that controlled who got banned or not. It's like if Elon's going to do a poll, put polls out there, and really, get into that sort of thing. I mean, it shouldn't be Twitter that decides who's in or out. It's the community that decides.
It's the
And also,
community, exactly.
it's if you don't like someone, you don't follow them, you mute them or whatever. There are those controls as well. You don't have to see anyone. You don't have to see what you're not interested in. Like
Yeah, exactly.
I've
Which
had
is,
oh,
sorry,
go on.
but which is why these social media companies are so powerful, is because they're the ones who decide what people see, and they're the ones who decide who gets to
They're
speak and
public.
not to speak. Yeah.
They're the
So
ones
it
running the
really,
bar. They're running the bar. They
yeah,
got to make sure. It's like it's like you got to think of it like being a barman. You can refuse service. You have the right to refuse service, and it's as simple as that, because you're a troublemaker, sort of thing. And that's that. That's not canceling or anything like that. That's just trying to keep a stable community. And it's just got to happen. It's like they're not. It's like saying taking the doorman off clubs and things like that and just letting anyone in. It's just not going to
yeah.
happen.
No, and like I want to kind of compare Twitter to our Telegram, right? So
Yeah.
our Telegram is a chat room dedicated to our projects, right? And Twitter is a chat room dedicated to the entire global audience to talk about whatever the heck they want to talk about. Now, when you're serving a global audience and you have so many different types of personalities and you have so many people that have different opinions on things, you can't sit there and easily moderate everything. And then if you do sit there and moderate everything, then it's just kind of like it would have been ran how it was ran before, and how all these other social media companies are ran, where it's just like a bunch of terms of service and You have to agree with everything that the social media companies want you to agree with. If not, you get throttled, you get banned, you get shadow banned, or you get just silenced off the entire platform in general. Now, comparing it to our chat, where it's like, if people come in and start shilling like other projects, yeah, you're gonna get muted, you're gonna get banned, you're gonna get muted, you're gonna get booted, right? Now, the difference is it's not that we're serving a global audience that just voicing their opinion on things. It's just like, obviously the Shibadoge chat or the Shibadoge Telegram or whatever is directly focused, hyper focused on what we have going on as a community and what the crypto world has going on in the community. So it's like, don't come talking about other projects. But then again, you fast forward and you look at Twitter, and then obviously it's just like a influx of hundreds of millions of people voicing their opinions on things. And I think Elon is making history right now because he's actually there. We've never had an age of free speech online. And I feel like, especially the last like 10 years, people have been extremely scared of voicing their opinion online because they, for one, get banned, and nobody wants to get banned from their social media platform. Number two, they get attacked by hundreds or thousands or whatever people that don't agree with their opinion. But that's fine because they should expect that. So it's like, if you're going to be saying something that other people are not going to be agreeing with, then you got to be prepared to deal with the feedback. But why I think Twitter is going to be the number one most successful platform moving forward is because they're going to be the only ones that really offer that freedom of being able to, say whatever you want to say and talk about whatever you want to talk about, and let those people deal with the repercussions of what they say, and kind of have the platform to be able to defend themselves, or have the platform to be able to like apologize. But at the end of the day, being able to be free to advertise whatever you want to advertise, talk about whatever you want to talk about, and be able to monetize whatever you want to monetize is going to be the number one most useful platform out there. And I mean, there's a lot of drama going on right now with the whole Twitter deal, and with Tesla, and with Elon, and whatever, and this and that. And that's a lot of the drama that you're hearing about and seeing is because the rest of the networks don't agree with what's going on, because it's taking money out of their pocket. So what are they doing is they're driving a lot of money and a lot of attention to the negative part of things, and kind of like really hiding the positives of it. So I just want to let you guys know, don't be quick to come to conclusions when it comes down to this. When you see an article here and there, just always remember that whatever you're seeing, is a lot of it is because they want you to see that. And FUD is very easily ingested. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of these articles and a lot of these media companies that want you to kind of like see the FUD, they know the keywords that are going to attract your attention. They know the keywords that are going to make you like read things. They know the keywords that are going to get you scared. And they know when people are scared, they can make money. So just know, like, everything is a tactic. Like every scary article you read online is because there's somebody profiting off that article. And I just don't want you guys to not have that information. Maybe I should start writing FUD articles, man. Maybe I can make some extra money on the side.
Ban him.
Yeah,
ban
man.
him.
Yeah. Ban Leo, guys.
I can write a blog, the FUD blog by Leo.
Let's go.
Anybody
else,
have
guys?
any other questions, guys? Yeah, it's an open floor. Come up, let's talk.
I had a question, Leo.
What's up, Cody?
So I think it was like a month back. I was buying NFT, and I got a like a scam link from a fake Sony. So I had to create a new wallet and move all my stuff over, and I was all staked. Am I still eligible for like keeping it staked? I restaked everything.
Right. Okay. So that's a good question, and somebody asked that too. I'm echoing in somebody's mic. If you could please mute yourself, that'd be great.
Cody, your mic.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so on that question, it's going to be a tough one, and I don't have an honest answer for you guys on that just yet. And the reason why is because we need to be able to run the analytics first and see, like, the reports of the numbers that we get back anyway. And then on top of that, I don't know if the tool that we're going to be using to do that will support being able to like track those wallets that unstake and restake because of those reasons. Ideally, obviously, we'd want to do right by you people, especially like if you're doing it just to protect yourself and to, secure your accounts. Obviously, we don't want to take anything away from you guys. But I'll tell you right now, I'm going to try everything to see how we could come up with a good way to track that. But if we can't, unfortunately, unfortunately, I can't give you a 100% answer whether you're going to be able to be eligible or not just yet. But just know that we'll try to do everything we can to like make it right and try to do it. But there's just no guarantee at this point.
Awesome, thank you. And then also, I wanted to get a cold storage wallet. Do you know which one works best with the iPhone?
I use the Ledger, and I also have an iPhone too, and I've had the Trezor too. They're both really, really good. I prefer to use the Ledger just because I like the physical appearance of it better, but they both do the same job at the end of the day. And I would go with the Ledger just because it just has a cooler interface, and I kind of like the entire whole app thing that they have going on. So I would definitely recommend the Ledger. And if you do get one, make sure to only order it from their website. Like, don't get it on Amazon. Don't get it anywhere else. Just go to the actual Ledger website and order it from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. And I appreciate everything you do.
Of course, bro. Thank you. Cos, do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving in your part of the world?
No, not at all. Not at all. We don't celebrate much here at the moment, to be honest.
Is there like a different holiday that happens on that day, or is there just like nothing going on?
Nothing going on whatsoever. Nothing going on. Yeah, we just got Christmas to look forward to at the moment. That's about it. We've had our annual kind of burning effigies of the guy that tried to of Guy Fawkes, trying to blow up Parliament. Do that every November the 5th. That's about it for November, really.
So no nut November, it looks like.
But I've been in the States a couple of times during Thanksgiving, and kind of it's a really good thing, I think. But it seems like it's a good get together, going around, eating together, and all that sort of stuff. It's all good fun.
Yeah, this time of year in the States, like holiday time is probably the best time to visit. Like, but other than that, man, I feel like the United States is so boring too nowadays. It's just like everybody is so hyper focused on like the being a part of the system that they forget how it feels to like actually live. And I feel like in Europe and in other parts of the world, there's a lot more human interaction and a lot more people who actually care about being social with people, rather than in the United States, you'll like walk past someone and they'll look at you and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm better than you," and then you go to a different part of the world and you walk past someone and they're like, "Hey, how are you?"
It's the same in this country. Different parts of the country are much more friendlier than others, but also we have a habit of going to the pub a lot. Or those of us that drink anyway. But the pub is like a really central social center, for even small villages, towns, and all. I live in the center of a city. I'm surrounded by pubs, but I go to one a little bit further out that's full of cats.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. Like all of this started happening, like the whole like antisocial thing started happening, like right as COVID started happening. And I don't know, man. I don't know if it was like uh, a planned agenda to get people to feel this way towards other people, or what the case was. But I think America got hit the worst as far as like that whole the whole social thing, or it might just be the parts of the world that I've been visiting and parts of America I've been visiting. Because anytime like I talk to anybody who comes back from a trip from Europe or from Asia or from even Russia or wherever the heck there are in the world, that they always have so much good things to say about the culture and so much good things to say about the people out there. Where I'll ask people who come and visit America, and I'll be like, hey, what did you guys think of the people out here? What did you guys think of like the things to do out here? And they'll be like, it's okay, it's whatever. Nobody really talked to us. Nobody really interacted much with us, and they just didn't feel like very welcomed. So I don't know if it's just something that happened after COVID, or just people are just changing in general. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But this is why I think the digital world is going to be so overpowering in the future, is because people are unfortunately not really as social as they used to be in the real world. So the digital world is like a place where people are free to express themselves in the sense and not have to worry or be shy, or like they could say stuff and not get beat up. I guess I don't know, man. It's just
that also has that also has a negative effect as well. I mean, that's what
it does.
Troll. That's exactly what trolling is, obviously. But with the talking about how different people treat you. I mean, I've been to the West Coast, East Coast, down south, Texas, all in America, and it is different every single place. And I spent a long time in London as well, and London can be, even though it's like one of the most densely populated parts of the country, can be the most loneliest place as well. It just all depends. It all depends, you can be in a really busy place full of people, but it can be very lonely just because it depends how you feel, depends how people treat you. But then in other places, it's just, you just wouldn't dream of feeling like that at all. Everybody's very welcoming. And you feel like it's just wherever you feel like, if wherever you feel at home, sort of thing. I've been on the opposite side of the planet, in like Melbourne or Auckland, and I felt more at home there than I have in certain places of England. It's crazy.
That's true too, man. Because when I travel, even to like a country that I've never been to in my entire life, like it would be the first time there, and I'll get there and I'll be like, whoa, this feels like home. This feels like where I should live. And then like I'll go somewhere else and I'll say the same thing, and then I think to myself, am I feeling this way because I just like don't like fit in where I currently live right now, or is it just because of the culture shock and it's just something new to me, and it's still something that I haven't been able to figure out. But what I noticed with the internet, and what I noticed with like spending more time in for example Telegram, or in the communities, or just like in the crypto world, let's say, I noticed that it doesn't matter where you live because everyone is coming together in one place regardless. But what we're losing track of is the importance of like human interaction, the like real human interaction, not just like coming on here and talking to people on VC and stuff. It's like actually going out with your friends, or I remember a time where people would actually go out to try to make friends. Like nobody goes out and tries to make friends anymore. They just go out with like friends that they currently have, or they might just not even put an effort into making friends and just be hanging out all day by themselves, which is fine. Like, but that's the thing. Is like,
I've been working from home for over 10 years now, and I do miss that kind of the whole social culture that comes with working in an office or working with a bunch of people. I do miss that, but there's a whole lot of things that I don't miss about that.
It definitely has its ups and downs.
You just said something else. I was gonna reply to. I can't remember what it was now. Damn. But what was it you were just saying?
Now you made me forget.
Oh God.
I was saying, like people don't even go out to try to make friends anymore, and or they just settle with the friends that they have, or they might not have any friends, and they don't make an effort to make
that's
new
right.
ones.
It was the digital thing. It was like the back in sort of around 1993 when I started building websites and started getting into this whole thing, and everybody going like, "What are you doing? What's all this? This is crazy." You're talking to people on. They're going to. Do you know who they are? I'm like, no. And something I've still got it somewhere. Print out this thing where I said it's not where you're from, it's where you're at, but use the at symbol as the at.
Right.
And that was how I tried to express kind of what the web was like. I said to people, it's like it's like the biggest encyclopedia known to man. You could just ask any question, you'll find an answer for it. Also, I created a forum system called Theories, and it introduced you to say, or its introductory kind of interstitial was to say that come on, we've all have ideas and thoughts or questions that you've never been felt comfortable asking anybody else that but or some crazy idea or a theory about something, not necessarily conspiracy theory, but a theory about something. And now here's the place to do it. No straitjacket required. In you come, and some of the conversations and threads that happened from that were absolutely hilarious. And it was just because it was because here's a place where you can just say what you like.
Yeah, exactly, man, and that's important. That's important to have places like that.
I used to run the Twitter account Confession back in the day, like one of the very early Twitter bots, and I had to shut it down. The archive of it still exists there, but I created a forum where anybody could just post anything to it and confess anything, and it would post to the Twitter account. But then it just got hugely abused, and people started doxing people on it and all sorts of crap. It just got really ugly, so I had to ban everybody, sinners.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy because like if you compare the support that you get online compared to the support that you get in the real world, it's night and day difference. Let me tell you why. Let's say, for example, you open up a new business, a small business, and you make an Instagram account for it. Your biggest supporters, believe it or not, are probably at the end of the day not going to be your friends and family and your acquaintances, but more or less they're going to be strangers online. And that is a big problem in society where, like friends and family don't come together to support other friends and family. And they kind of like want to be better than them, or they want to succeed more than them. But then again, it's like you can relate to so many people that are strangers online that will love what you're doing and support you and like every post that you put out there, and buy from your store or whatever, or your website, and support your website. Whereas like the people that you really interact with on a daily basis that you call your friends or acquaintances or family, they have that like vendetta to like not want the support, right? And then maybe like if they do like something, it'll just be like once in a blue moon, or you could just tell, right? And that's why the internet is such a powerful tool, is because it brings support to people where they need support. And it's honestly a sad truth that we see in our society today. And I mean, I've seen it happen with businesses that I started, where it's like, people, whether, I don't know if it's from jealousy or whether they just don't want to support it, they won't support it. And then whereas like you'll get, thousands of people, hundreds of people online that you'd never met in your life actually come and support you and help you progress as a business.
100%, definitely. Silence of deep thought there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, all this internet. I think it'll catch on. I mean, seriously, I used to work for this advertising agency. Like I said, this was back in '93, and I'd been doing CD-ROMs, and I'm talking to them about like the World Wide Web and how this will revolutionize our industry. We did business to business advertising for like Microsoft, Texas Instruments, Hewlett Packard, Nokia, Siemens Nixdorf, all these sort of high tech companies, and and a lot of what we did was all sort of, you know, printing. It was all on paper, you mail outs and things like that, physical mail outs.
Right.
And I'm, you know, I'm like in the future, you know, every ad is going to have a website address and an email address on it. Don't you get it? And my boss was like, there'll never be any money in that, in multimedia and the internet.
That's what they were saying. That's what they were saying when in the early days of the internet, that the internet was a fugazi and the internet was not going to make it and this and that. But this is exactly what is happening right now with crypto. Is
I agree.
Literally the same exact thing that happened when the internet was coming to life. So
Exactly.
this is why I'm so bullish on crypto, and why I know crypto is going to be the next big thing, is because it's history repeating itself, right? It's all those same people who were saying, oh, the internet's not going to be anything. The internet is here today and gone tomorrow. Like, no, dumbass, the internet is a revolutionary product, and you're just too close-minded to see that. And then those same people are the same people who are hating on crypto and hating on blockchain technology. So this is why, guys, it's like, if you're ever in doubt, compare history with current events, and you'll be able to kind of like predict what happens next.
I mean, you know, I've been through. I mean, when I got into crypto, that I did that specifically because I recognized it as being a similar feeling as even like Web 1 and Web 2 kind of that I went through. And you know, I was the guy with the gadget, with the phone, with the camera, you know, taking pictures, and people going, nobody's ever going to want to look at photos on a phone. Nobody's ever going to want to do this. Nobody's ever going to want to browse the internet on their phone. Why would they want to do that? They've got a computer. All these sort of things have batted those ideas back to people my entire career. And I see the same thing happening with crypto and Web3, and that excites me, and that's why I've got involved in it, because it's not going away, and it'll probably evolve into ways that we haven't even imagined yet, in the way that sort of parts of the web have. A lot of it's very much the same, but the mechanisms that we have to use, the devices we use, the speed of the network, crikey, you know, just this download speeds on a mobile phone is just eye-watering now compared to, we just couldn't have imagined that at the time. And when I was building my first,
I remember when texting became a thing too. Like everyone was saying, why would I ever text anybody when I could just call them? Why would I ever send out a text message? Yeah. And I mean, look at us now. We're sending out more text messages than ever. And literally every conversation happening online, or every conversation happening between any individual, is like 99% through a text message or any kind of message that you type, right? So it's crazy, man. It's crazy how the world evolves.
Everybody thought Twitter was utterly crazy. Like, what are you doing? What's all that? What do you mean? And then suddenly you find yourself doing it, and you're like, oh my God. And then you start thinking in 140 characters. And now you can think in more characters, but it made your thoughts pithy and short and sweet, you know. I always said, like, when they made it so you could use more characters, I said, well, that's just taking the pith.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But anyway, the future's bright. It's as bright as we want to make it. You know, and bear markets like this is when everything gets built. Some huge companies.
This is when everything gets built. Yeah, this is when people get creative, because if you don't get creative during times like this, you're not going to survive. And the only people that survive are the people who are able to make the best out of any given situation and are able to build something meaningful. And honestly, yeah, you're right, man. Bear markets are where winners are built. Not only are projects the winners that I'm talking about, but also investors too, because the people who are not afraid during a bear market are the people who are going to reap the rewards in the bull market. I mean, I've said this before, I'll continue to say it because it's true. And that's literally how, you know, my success came in a sense, and it's how a lot of people's success came in a sense, is by not being scared to take that leap of faith, and then not looking at whatever market conditions are. So, I mean, the way markets work and the way market conditions work are a whole different story, and like the way people kind of like choose their investments is a whole different story too. Obviously, you're not going to want to go and start buying, you know, ETF funds and this and that when, you know, we're in a bear market and when there's like all kinds of bad reports coming up. But then there's like those niche little things where, you know, like, hey, in the future, this might be something. That's something that you are looking at and you're like, hey, this is a really good opportunity for me to get in. And this is a really good opportunity for that company or that project or whatever to really show their true colors as to like what their potential is by being able to kind of like survive through the bear market and continue to build and come out stronger than before. So obviously that's what we aim to do. We aim to come out stronger than ever. During the next bull run, we want to be in such a position where we're like, okay, you know what? Like we've proved ourselves through the bear market. We've proved ourselves through whatever hurdles that we had to get over and all the challenges that we had to get over. So yeah, a lot of times, you know, this is just all like kind of training you to become a stronger project and a stronger community in a sense. So you're right, man. And I kind of want to leave it off at that note because I do have to get going here in a minute. But you made a really good point that winners are built in the bear market. And that's something I want people to really like ingest and digest, and really think about that, what he means by that. And it's a really powerful quote, in my opinion. And it's honestly, we're going to see a lot of great projects survive through the bear market. If you're a great project, you're going to survive because you're going to stay creative, you're going to keep building, and you're going to want to survive. The people who are not going to survive, you know, doesn't matter how big of a company they are. Look at FTX. It's the people who are built on bullshit and the people who are built off of like, you know, bad intentions. Those people will collapse 99.99% of the time in times like this, which is why we're seeing all these Fugazi companies, you know, close their doors left and right and file bankruptcy, is because they're built on bullshit. So the companies that are not built on bullshit and the projects that are not built on bullshit are going to come out of here stronger than ever, more credible. They're going to have more backing. They're going to have more credibility. They're going to have a stronger team. They're going to have a stronger community that knows what to expect in certain scenarios. So it's all a win-win situation. It's very unfortunate that we're going through what we're going through in the markets, but it's a necessity too, because in order for bull markets to exist, bear markets have to exist, and vice versa. So what's going on right now is just we're experiencing one half of it. You know, we've experienced this half. We know what to expect from this half. It might get better. It might get worse. You never know. But what you have to look forward to is the other half of things, right? And it's kind of like a yin yang thing, right? There's the good, there's the bad, but the number one thing to focus on is that it doesn't stay bad forever and it doesn't stay good forever. So timing is key. And I feel like, we have to understand what time we are in right now. And I feel like we're in the time of opportunity, man. I really do feel that way.
Definitely. I think it's going to be a longer time than we anticipated, since all this FTX stuff and everything, the fallout from that. But the gives us more time to build. You know, after the sun comes the rain. After the rain comes the sun. What goes up comes down. Vice versa. You know, we're all going to have some stories to tell. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, us being a niche like meme coin built on the ERC20 standard, like it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, we have to wait till ETH hits, $10,000 for us to be successful. No, that's not the point. That's why we're continuing to build stuff. That's why we're continuing to introduce stuff. That's why we're continuing to like get creative, is because it doesn't matter to me what the price of ETH or what the price of Bitcoin is. What matters to me is what is going on in our community, right? Because in our project, because that one great idea that comes to fruition, that one great idea that becomes innovative, that one great idea that kind of like changes things up and changes the entire game, that's what drives a lot of value, and that's what drives attention, and that's what drives money, and that's what drives success. So I mean, as long as we can continue to stay on top of the horse and continue to stay creative, you know, we might drop 10 ideas that do nothing, and then we might drop one idea that just takes you to $1 billion market cap overnight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's all about being consistent. It's all about continuing to bring stuff to life. And the only way you could find out if things work is by actually doing them, introducing them. And if they work, great. If they don't work, you move on to the next thing, make it better, make it bigger, and just never quit, man. As long as we never quit, we will find success.
You get lots of good experience trying as well. You don't get any experience by not trying.
No, easy, man. If you don't try, you'll never know if it works or not.
Exactly.
All right, guys. I'm gonna call it over here. I got to take off. Got to actually leave this office and go home. But it's a great conversation. We're gonna have another big, great conversation on Wednesday's AMA. Like I said, we are co-hosting that with another AMA host on Twitter Spaces. So it's going to be a fun one. We're actually going to also do the big announcements as to what to expect for the big event. So make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be on Wednesday instead of Thursday. I believe it's pinned on our Twitter. So if you haven't set a reminder, just go to our Twitter and set a reminder. And we definitely appreciate if you guys come on and support us and maybe hop on and ask a few questions here and there. But other than that, that's all the time I have for today, guys. I'll be in the chat after I finish driving home. But if you want to talk to me, feel free to tag me. Rojo, if you're still in here, yep, you are. I do remember I have to get back to you about those flyers and stuff. So after I drive home, I'll shoot you a text message on Telegram and we'll talk about that, okay? But other than that, guys, I love you all. I'm going to take off. If you missed Shiba, that sucks. If you missed Doge, that also sucks. If you miss Shibadoge, then you suck. So,
yeah.
Peace out, guys. Talk to y'all later.
Peace out.
Cheers, man. Take it easy.